Hello YouTube, my name is Venator, and in today's video, we are back on Petits Pieds NA server, picking up where we left off on our last Prime Deinosuchus video, growing in Coastal Pond after redeeming our voucher that got us back to 8 tons after dying to the overpack. And when we logged in here, I got quite the surprise. There was another full Prime in here, and he was seemingly AFK. So I wasted no time exiting the pond. That could have ended horribly, and that is one of the hazards of playing in these small ponds. But I wasn't ready to leave this area yet, so I disregarded the advice that I always give out to you guys, and I came back up to the pond and sent out a chat message to see if he was back at his computer. And sure enough, he was. And so one of two things was going to happen. He was either going to come out and kill me, or he was going to be friendly and we were going to team up. And luckily for me, he was a fan of the channel. So I made a bigger friend and someone to hang out with in this little coastal pond. But unfortunately, our team up here was short-lived. He was low on hunger and the hunting during this session just wasn't that good. So even though here we teamed up, we hung out for about 30 minutes to an hour, and then we both had to log off and go our separate ways due to the lack of food in the area. Unfortunate, but hey, it's always good to make it out of these kind of situations alive, so I will take that. The next time I logged in, as you can see, my hunger had dropped nearly to half, and finally, we had some action at the pond. And while not the biggest Sarah, hey, food is food. A growing Deinosuchus can never complain about an easy meal. And I didn't have to wait long. Shortly after, I had this larger Carno show up. So this would definitely help refill my hunger bar and allow me to continue to sit here and keep growing in safety. And during this session, I had a feeling that our buddy Ash might log back in, so I was keeping an eye out underwater, and sure enough, he did, and he went immediately on the attack, but I was able to get out the message that it was me, and he laid off, which was lucky for me, because this guy, unfortunately for him, he was starving. As we were chatting, I was gonna offer that I could leave the pond, but then he said it was game over for him, and I didn't really realize that how close to death he was. And that was it. He dropped dead. So he must have been on red hunger and red health when he logged in. Sad to say, but even if he would have bit me once or twice, all it would have taken was probably one bite from me and he would have gone down. I don't even know if he had the health to grab me and drown me in time. But either way, pour one out for our boy Ash. His corpse will allow me to stay here for the next several hours and continue growing in safety. It's sad, but hey, if I was him and my hunger had gotten that low, I would not have stayed here in this pond. Or at least at the very minimum, I would have tried to grab me regardless if we were friendly the time before. And I wouldn't have blamed him. That's how croc life is. While I would have been, a little upset that I died, I wouldn't have taken it personally because I've been killed so many times. That's just how croc life goes, and you got to accept it is what it is. And that night, thanks to our buddy Ash and his sacrifice, his body allowed us to sit and grow in safety and hit that 10.5 ton mark. This is the most important threshold for Deinosuchus, as this is where you can no longer be grabbed. So now, we are free to play as we want. But with all the food around here, as you can see, I had no intention of leaving. The next day, I had this group of Sarahs show up, and I killed the first one so quietly that this other one had no idea how his friend has died and came down to investigate, allowing me to get a nice double kill. In the next day, I got probably the best kill that I've gotten while I was in Coastal Pond. I noticed this very decent sized Rex creeping up to steal my meal that I was using as bait. And that was a big mistake on his part. I was able to run out and get a nice lunge on him. And this guy was probably going down either way. If you didn't notice that prime aloe right there, he was hunting the Rex as well. Or maybe he just smelled the food and they both arrived at the same time. But either way, got an awesome Rex kill. But unfortunately, after that Rex, for the next couple sessions when I logged in and out, I'd spend about 30 minutes to an hour in the pond and I didn't get a single thing. So eventually I had to call it quits and make my way back to the ocean and then over to Delta. And once you reach the ocean, it's just straight south past those islands where you'll come back up on the estuary inlet where you can enter Delta. Anytime I'm playing solo and entering Delta, I'm making sure to be all the way zoomed in because it increases your viewing distance. But I got really lucky because as soon as I got in, I came across a grabbable croc. And this was a good sized guy. And unfortunately, I was nearly out of food, so I had no other choice but to grab this guy, drown him, and kill him. And his body would allow me to continue on my solo adventure. And after finishing that body, my hunger was nearly back to full. So this allowed me to change my plans. I no longer needed to stick around in Delta and risk my life looking for food. So I decided to head out and make my way over to swamps where I would cross all the way through the middle of it and then make my way to South Pond. I'm going to try and find another hunting hole and see how it goes. And this journey is pretty straightforward. I just make my way across the middle of swamp to this spot shown on the map. From here, you can walk over to the ocean like so. And I got pretty lucky. That trike, he almost caught me on my way into the water. But anyway, you're going to make your way around that cliff and then you'll come to this spot where you can walk straight up north and over and into South Pond. As I was walking up, I had heard some packies in the distance, so I was hoping maybe I'd get lucky and get a kill here pretty quick. Because as you can tell, I don't have a lot of hunger or a lot of time to sit here and wait. So we'll see how it goes. And it did not go well at all. As you can see, my hunger is nearly empty again. So I made the walk over to Lagoon, and I got pretty lucky. I could see a corpse, and I found this big aloe body. It looked like a prime aloe, and this corpse would at least give me a chance to continue my life in South Plains River. So after polishing off that corpse, it was time to make the very short walk up top into the river to see what I could find. And look at that. Just as I'm coming up, a huge Maya drinking. So I thought, hey, maybe this spot, maybe it's turning around and things are coming back to drink here. So we'll see how it goes. And it wasn't long before I found this Carno. He was trying to drink behind this log, which just so you know, was not a safe spot. Now, I'm sure a lot of people have kind of gotten to the habit of drinking here because I really, in my time here, I'll spoil it a little bit, did not run into very many dinos whatsoever. Unfortunately though, like all the other solo spots that aren't really dominated by primes, South Plains suffers from the same fault, and that's that food can just really disappear. For several sessions, I didn't find anything, and I was on the verge of starvation again, when thankfully, this time I logged in and I found these two little raptors trying to cross the river and run. But what I didn't realize is they were actually running from something, this very large aloe, and he came up to drink. Getting this grab definitely saved my life. And after I filled up on the aloe and the two omnis that I killed, my food was back to a very good level. And that's when I noticed this other aloe. I don't really know what I was doing right there. I thought maybe he wasn't paying attention and I would be able to run up and then get a follow-up lunge, but that didn't really work. And then he was still sitting in super lunge range. So I tried to line up a super lunge, but unfortunately I thought he would start walking forward and walk into it, but it was just timed a little bit off and he was able to turn and escape it. And that's the fix. A lot of people are like, well, the super lunge is still in the game, and it is. Full primes can still lunge a long way. It just doesn't have the speed and the extra distance it used to have. Like right there, that Omni probably thought he was safe, but as a full prime now, I have quite a bit of distance on my lunge. The next day, this packy was drinking, but he left just as I was getting close to get a grab on him. But I noticed that he had a little bonk squad with him, and they were just absolutely bonking this aloe to death. So I knew my next meal wouldn't be too far off. I just had to sit here, watch, and enjoy the show, and then go up and clean up whoever dies. And eventually, the aloe went down, and he didn't take any of the packies with him, so I made my way up and scavenged his corpse. Hey, food is food, and I will gladly take it. But after that, all I really came across for the next couple sessions was small things, just trying to cross. And no matter how big or small, well, small really, you can't pass up food. Even though that Carno will only give me maybe 1%, maybe 2 if I'm lucky, but you can't pass it up. In these spots, you got to eat all the food that you can get. Here, this small pack of omnis was chasing this aloe into the river, and I showed no discretion, and I killed both who entered the river. But hey, since the raptors chased one of them into the river and I got one of the raptors, I figured a soul for a soul was fair. So I took the aloe up and rolled the organs for this small pack of growing raptors. It's not like this aloe will give me that much food anyway, and at half food, I was really hoping that I could find something bigger, which turned out to be a mistake because I would not see anything after this. And after several times of having to log in and out, I finally heard some big footfalls in the distance coming towards the river. And sure enough, it was a very large Rex who was just still in the grabbable range. He probably didn't imagine that there could be a full prime croc in this river. And this Rex's body would allow me to continue on my journey and continue upriver, where we will check out a new hunting spot in my next NA Deinosuchus video. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed my solo struggles, and I hope you guys can relate to it. Being a solo is a tough life, and as you guys could see from this video, starvation comes into play a lot, and playing around it and knowing when to log in and out can be the difference between life and death. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you all next time, and happy hunting.